You know, one of the stories that we talked about today had to deal with the issue of plastic being eaten by seabirds. And of course, it kills them. It basically is a tragedy that so much of the nature is being destroyed by man's waste. I actually do believe it's a tragedy. I know that some people think that, they put labels on people for, well, you think this way or you think that way, therefore you're not going to support the ecology or whatever. Listen, I believe in taking care of your own waste. Waste is actually a natural product of consumption. Whatever else. I mean, you burn a campfire and the waste left over is the ashes, right? Think of human waste. I mean, how do you dispose of it? It's not right to just leave it out in the open, right? You don't want to step in somebody else's. Therefore, you don't want to leave yours out there to be stepped on. You bury it, you flush it, you cover it up with a rock, whatever. Well, what about plastics? It's still technically made from the same building blocks as everything else. I mean, it comes from the planet. It's not like it's something, a UFO dropped a plastic on us. We made it out of stuff that's here. But the problem is that the plastic don't break down like paper does or, human waste or whatever. The issue then is what to do with it. It's the same principle as not leaving your other waste out there for somebody else to step in. You don't want to step in somebody else's stuff. You don't want somebody else's plastic to ruin your seabirds or your fish or your whatever. So we need to take care of our own stuff. And so this is the issue, I think, is what you'd call stewardship. And it's a biblical issue. When God created man, I believe he did so with the assumption built in that man was going to take care of what he had been entrusted with. Yeah, look at him. All of this here, it's yours. I want you to tend the garden. Adam had a job from the very beginning, day one. He was naming animals. He was naming plants. I mean, think about this. He's a botanist and he's a zoologist. He's creating names for these creatures. I mean, there are some of these things that I look at and the names I would come up with would be absolutely ridiculous. Not like giraffe as a particularly, sensible word. I digress. The point is this, that from the very beginning, Adam had a job in the garden, and part of that job was tending the garden. From the very beginning. This is a perfect world, right? This is before, he did that, whatever he did with that fruit that he wasn't supposed to touch. Point is that stewardship is something that goes all the way back to the very beginning of mankind. And therefore, in asking myself that question, how then shall I live? I need to be a good steward with my own resources. I need to be a good steward. In other words, I need to invest well with what I have. I need to make sure that the byproducts of my consumption are disposed of properly. Whether that's when I'm out camping, I take a shovel with me and I dispose of my waste. I take a plastic bag with me to pick up all of my other garbage and take it out and dispose of it in some other way. In some cases, I do burn it. I don't know. I don't like the smell of when plastic is burning, and something tells me that probably most animals don't either. So I prefer to actually just pack it out when I'm out there. And it blows my mind to think about all of the waste that's just out there. How does the plastic end up in the ocean? And I think this is part of the problem, is that people like me, I think that, well, okay, I'm just going to gather up my trash and I'm going to take it and put it in the garbage and somebody else will take care of it. Okay. Assuming for just a moment, what if there was not a landfill for me to take my garbage to? What if I lived on, say a homestead? How would I dispose of my garbage then? I would probably burn it mostly, or I'd try to reuse it. For instance, if I bought something of plastic that was, like, I don't know, plastic bags, what you can do with them. But it seems to me like that I could probably brainstorm to figure out, especially as I accumulate enough of it, maybe there's something else I can do with this to reuse, repurpose, and be a good steward, even of my waste. That's my 2 cents. Hope you enjoyed it. You'll find this and all of my other podcasts online at radiofreespeech.com. That's radiofreespeech.com. I'm Steve Floyd. Check me out on YouTube and tell all your friends. If you like what I'm doing and you want me to do more of it, I do have some buttons with PayPal available there at my website. Once again, that's radiofreespeech.com. Check it out, and I will see you tomorrow.